The Geoscience Collection of the University of Bremen presents A Geological Journey Through Bremen, Episode 4, Storms of the Dinosaur Era. Dinosaurs once roamed the Earth, from our favourite and well-known Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops and Iguanodon, to the lesser-known Europasaurus. Northern Germany was home to some of these giants, and they roamed the land much closer to Bremen than you may have thought. 145 million years ago, on the turn from the Jurassic to the Cretaceous, today's areas of northern Germany were largely comprised of continental land, islands and an inland sea known as the Lower Saxony Basin, a 300-kilometre long and 65-kilometre wide sedimentary trough. The islands, or sand barriers as they are also known, characterised the landscape, and river systems carried sediments to be deposited and consolidated to create the Wealden sandstones, including the Bremen stone. Subtropical forests grew on the mainland with shallow waters surrounding the land, and it is in this environment that we enter the home of the dinosaurs. Muncherhagen, approximately 20 kilometres north of the Olbenkirchen quarry and 80 kilometres south of Bremen, is home to one of Germany's most exciting dinosaur excavation sites. Its host rock is the Rehberger sandstone, also part of the Wealden sandstones. Finds have been made since the mid-1900s, but lacked evidence, and had often been separated and left with little value. In 1979, the first preserved discoveries were made, and in 1983, a hall was made over the footprints to preserve them, which was renovated in 1992 to enlarge the area. In 2005, scientists, including a team from the Geoscience Collection of the University of Bremen, made additional fascinating discoveries, with an area of 1,200 square metres excavated, and a year later 2,000 square metres. Amongst very well preserved oscillation marks, which are wavy features found in sand, parallel to the coastline, giant footprints were uncovered. With front footprints of between 45 to 75 centimetres in diameter, and back footprints of up to 1.5 metres, these trace fossil features could finally provide solid evidence of dinosaurs, namely the giant elephant-like sauropods. A total of 256 footprints were uncovered and preserved in place, or in situ as geologists call it, with many hundreds being found in close proximity to one another. An extra 19 three-toed dinosaur footprints were also found, now thought likely to be those of Iguanodon. The sauropods are thought to have been up to 45 metres in length and weighed up to 80 tonnes. The Iguanodon were likely 4 metres high and weighed up to 4.5 tonnes. Because the Iguanodon footprints lie just above those of the sauropods in the sediment, they are likely younger than the sauropod footprints. The approximately 140 million-year-old footprints are now undercover in a 3,500 square metre glass hall and can be visited by the public in all weather conditions. Iguanodon are thought to have lived similarly to buffalo, and were herbivores, living in herds. They were community creatures, and were often excavated in groups. Sauropods, alike Iguanodon, were also herbivores and lived in communities. So how exactly did these footprints likely form? Just as we walk on the beach and see our footprints in the sand, we can picture how the footprints formed. However, our footprints are usually washed away soon after they're made. The difference between well-preserved traces and non-preserved traces is predominantly in the material into which the footprint was made. Very fine sediments hold their form better than sand. Imagine the footprint that might be left behind in a swampy area. These footprints last much longer. The material which covers the footprint is important too. A material that will bind to the underlying footprint material and be consolidated into rock with. Homogeneous sandstone banks, formed 143 million years ago, can be seen in the Wealden sandstones, and due to their homogeneity it is thought that they were deposited quickly during storms. These storms were likely experienced by the dinosaurs too. In Belgium in 1878, an excavation team in a coal pit near Bernissart, a little more than an hour's drive from Brussels, discovered a large assemblage of bones. 31 skeletons were unearthed and identified to be those of Iguanodon. They were in close proximity to one another, leading to the idea that the herd died together approximately 130 million years ago during a storm. One idea is that they panicked and fled, falling into an abyss. However, today scientists believe that periodic events such as mudslides may have been partly responsible for the concentration of the remains. Sea level began to rise due to heavy rainfall, and currents carried carcasses together to their depositional locations, where they formed death assemblages. This typified periods of the northern German Dinosaur Era, and we expect this to have had a big impact on the lives of the dinosaurs which we know to have been present there. In the next episode of our short film series, A Geological Journey Through Bremen, we will find out which fossils have been found in the Bremen stone, including a crocodile skull. Stay tuned for Fossils of the Bremen Stone.